Hey, welcome back to When Bad Things Happen to Good People, a podcast about censorship and the arts. My name's Todd Sullivan. With me, as always, is my good friend Oren Barter.
That's me.
And joining us as a special guest this week is the one and only Morrigan Sullivan, my child. Say hi, Morrigan.
Hello.
And today, the three of us are going to be digging into the awful anti-family story, The Paper Bag Princess. I'm super excited about this episode because Morrigan, my child, is joining us for the very first time. Thank you for being here, Mo.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Mo.
I think it's really cool to have, because right now we're covering children's books, and this is the third one that we've covered so far. We did Captain Underpants, we did The Prince and the Knight, and then this week we're doing The Paper Bag Princess. I think it's really cool to have the perspective of someone who these books are intended for. It's really easy for us as grown-ups to read these books and scoff at the reasons that they were banned or challenged. And I think it's going to be interesting to have your perspective.
Yes.
Because you and I you have a copy of this book in your library.
Yeah.
And we just read this yesterday together to get ready for this podcast. Out of the gate, what are your thoughts on the book?
I like it. It's cool.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think the main message is? Do you think it has a message?
Yeah.
Because it seems to me, Oren, do you have a thought on what the message is?
I do. It's got a couple messages, actually. I'll touch on one. Maybe one that was a little more buried. Like, appearance isn't everything.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And anybody who spends too much time worrying about appearances is a bum.
Specifically a bum. Yeah. So let's go over the general plot. So, as with most children's books, it's a pretty small book.
You know what? It's actually a lot shorter than I remembered it being. For some reason, I thought it was a small novel.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, I have no idea why. And then while I put aside a couple hours to read it, and it was over in like 10 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay. There must have been another book that I was confusing with it that was a little bit thicker, that had kind of a similar message. But I do remember the main line in the book, which is "You are a bum."
I don't know if that's the main line, but that's like the
That's the one
line.
that stuck with me. That's the one that stuck with me.
So, The Paper Bag Princess was published in 1980 and was written by Robert Munsch. And apparently, even as it was being published, there was some controversy around it. I remember reading that his publisher had asked him to change the ending.
Okay.
Which he refused to do, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, once it came out, there were people who were opposed to the ending. And specifically, there were people who argued that it was pushing an anti-family narrative.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Maybe that was a bigger issue in the 80s?
I mean, if you think about it, like 1980s was sort of the rise of, quote unquote, family values in the U.S. You had Ronald Reagan as president for 2 terms and really pushing that, family values are important to us here in the U.S. And, any sort of message of, I guess, female independence is going to be... But before we talk about female independence, let's go over, like...
No, it had to do with the female, and we'll touch on it later. Yeah, let's go over the plot.
Because I kind of want to explain the basic narrative of the book. So, it opens with the princess. Do you remember her name, Morrigan?
No.
Do you remember her
Even
name?
though I've read it like a million times, I still can't remember the name.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't either.
But so she's about to be married to this guy who I guess she's in love with.
What's his name?
A dragon. I don't know his name either.
Ronald?
He's a bum.
Ronald.
Ronald, you're right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the guy's name.
All I know is he's a bum.
And he might be Ronald.
He might be Ronald.
He might be Ronald.
Ronald McDonald because he's a clown, right?
Oh,
I was gonna say maybe he turns into Ronald McDonald.
maybe he does. Shots fired.
Shots fired. So the dragon rolls in, burns down the castle, kidnaps Ronald, which again is immediately a twist on most stories because normally it would be
Princess.
the princess,
Yeah.
and it's the prince would have to go and save him. So now what's happened to the princess's clothes, Morgan?
They're all burnt away.
They're all burnt away. So what does she put on instead?
A paper bag.
Yes, paper bags.
Which is like, out of all the things that would burn,
Right.
the paper bag burn.
That's what I said. Paper bags, famous for not igniting on fire. But yeah, so the only thing left is somehow this paper bag. So she puts it on and she follows the this stream of horse bones and
burnt forests.
Yeah.
to a cave, which has a door on it, which is unusual for a cave.
Yes, because the dragon built a door.
I guess he did, yeah. From one of the trees that he didn't burn down. And then fastened a nice little knocker on it as well.
Yes, for all the people who want to knock on his door and then be eaten.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like he was a little more lonely than he let on, because he didn't like kill her right away. He was just
Well,
like,
he did say that he had just finished eating an entire castle.
yeah,
Even though he didn't eat it.
Even though he didn't eat the castle. That's a contradictory statement from him.
that's
Plus, I
right.
don't think the castle would taste good.
Yeah, the castle isn't good for, I mean, that's not going to be good for your digestion.
Well, I mean,
No.
I mean, I assume a dragon is like close to a dinosaur, and dinosaurs evolved into birds, and birds do eat gravel, and castles are made out of rocks, and gravel is rocks. So
Wait, birds eat gravel?
yeah, they put gravel into their stomach to help them digest food, just a little bit.
That's weird.
It helps, it's because they don't have, rocks act as their stomach, or not as their stomach, as their teeth. Grinding up all the food that they didn't chew properly. All because they didn't evolve teeth. That would have been the smarter thing to do. Then they wouldn't have to eat rocks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty smart. I mean, there's rocks everywhere. Just
That's
eat
true.
a couple
That
rocks.
is true.
I mean,
You
I
can't
gotta
find teeth
brush my
everywhere.
teeth. You know, I gotta go to the dentist. It would just be easier just to swallow a couple rocks every once in a while.
Now that you put it that way, yeah. Maybe that's what we can. Let's just start doing it, and maybe we'll evolve.
Please no. I think he would die.
So she arrives at the dragon's door, knocks on the door, and he's like, "Thank you for coming, but I can't eat right now. I'm kind of full."
I just ate
He
a whole
closes the
castle.
door. And then she knocks on it again because she's not giving up. Not yet.
No, she's got to save Ronald.
She's got to save Ronald. And so the dragon opens the door again, and he's like, "I really don't have time for this." And she starts egging him on to like prove himself, right? So she's like,
I love that.
I
Is
hear,
it true that you can burn down 10 forests with one breath?
yes. And then he burns down 50. So I want to point out that she's already caused some massive property destruction by taunting this dragon, and then he burns down another 100. So like he's burned down 150 forests, all thanks to this.
Plus a castle.
Plus a castle,
Well,
and all the
that
trees on the
wasn't
way
her
back
fault.
from the castle.
It's not like she was egging him on to eat the castle.
No, that's true. The castle's on him entirely.
Yeah. But yeah, the forests, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the 150 forests, that's kind of on her. I guess the one trade-off could be if it was technically on her family's land, then they own those forests, and it would be their choice to burn them down if they wanted to.
I guess, but that's if it was on her family's land.
Yeah.
Which
then-
I don't think it is.
But then also, like,
Yeah, I
shouldn't
think
we
so.
just leave trees, even on our own land? They're the lungs of the earth, man.
I guess so, yeah.
Don't burn them.
Wait, but aren't your lungs inside of you?
Your lungs are inside of you. The earth, the
But the
lungs of
Earth's
the
lungs
earth.
are on its surface.
Exactly.
Does that mean the earth is alive?
Could you imagine having lungs on your face?
That'd be
Please,
gills.
No.
That'd be gills.
It reminds me of an old. There was. I don't know if you remember if you were alive for this or whatever.
Okay.
Or you wouldn't have been, Mo. There was an old bit on Saturday Night Live that was called "Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy," and there were these like quick little like. They were supposed to seem like really deep thoughts, and they kind of weren't. And one of them was like, if trees could scream, would we still cut them down?
Yeah.
Probably if they screamed all the time for no reason.
Shut that tree up.
Yeah,
Time
exactly.
to-
God damn it, I'm trying to sleep.
What if I'm screaming all the time for no reason?
Then we go to the hospital and find out what's wrong with you. There were days like that.
Well, that's because I was a child.
Oh, right.
And
Sorry. You're so grown up.
Why is a child?
I am no longer a child.
I-
I'm now a grown
I
adult.
forgot I missed your
You are
21st
not
birthday.
an adult, Mo. I'm sorry.
I am totally an adult.
Well, I mean, she's a business owner, so,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's something.
she's definitely in some weird phase between child and grown up. She's
I think that's called teenager.
grown child.
You're not
child.
a teenager yet, are you?
That's-
No, she's what they call a tween.
Oh, the terrible
That's
tweens.
like between childhood and teenagerhood. Yeah.
It's a between teen ween.
Between teen ween? Between teen Halloween wiener. So after burning down all the forests, she then says to the dragon that she's heard that it can fly around the world in 10 seconds. And she's like, show me. So he's like, okay. He flies around the world in 10 seconds, and he's really tired. So she's like,
Do it again.
do it again. I bet you can't do it again. And so he's like, okay. And he does it in 20 seconds. But now he's like so tired, he passes out. And so she pokes him a couple times and is like, hello, Mr. Dragon. He doesn't wake up. So she goes into the cave, rescues Ronald, who, it's worth noting, does not say...
Bum.
Is a bum, yeah. Because he doesn't say thank you
No.
or anything. He's like, oh my God, what are you wearing?
Yeah. Like, come back when you're dressed more like a princess.
Yeah.
I
or
can't
like,
be
at least a
seen with you
cool-
dressed like that. And you're all dirty.
Cool...
Go wash
a
yourself.
cool knight who rescues me, not some ash-covered chick in a
Yeah.
paper bag.
How dare you be wearing this bag, and how dare you save me?
Without looking good when you
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And so she's basically like, you know what? You're a bum.
You are a bum. And Ronald,
So
you are
there.
a bum.
Yes.
And that line it's amazing. Like it sticks with
It's
you.
such a great ending
That
line.
is like if somebody says to you anywhere in the distant future, you could have Alzheimer's, you're in an old folks home, somebody says paper bag princess, and you go, you are a bum. You'll remember that. Like it's just perfect.
right.
It's just
You are a bum.
it's perfect.
And if someone calls me a bum, I'm going to take it really personally because I know where it came from and I know the story behind it. I'll be like, I did not accuse you of not being fashionable when you rescued me. So,
You
But
know,
I didn't rescue you.
I just had a bit of a thought. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Shrek's been banned at all. I don't think it has, but the whole like Shrek being an ogre, saving the princess, keeping himself like covered up, and then she's expecting like Prince Charming. Kind of it's not really the whole exact same idea, but it's kind of along the same vein. It's like taking that. I mean, and Shrek was famous for taking the fairy tale and flipping it on its head.
yeah.
But I wonder if, like, you said this was done in the 80s. Were people, like, really playing with fairy tales back then? I don't really know. Was this kind of groundbreaking? Was this groundbreaking, or is this, like, something that's been happening for a while?
I think Robert Munsch, and I'm not an expert, but I think he had a certain kind of flavor to his books and to his writing that was a little bit different from the norm.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all kind of weird.
And I do think, like, I mean, this story was obviously written to put to flip the traditional. I guess I shouldn't say obviously, because I don't really know what his intention was, but it seems like it was obviously intended to flip the general fairy tale stereotypes. Because right from the start, you've got the prince being kidnapped and the princess doing the rescuing.
Yeah.
And then you have sort
And
of
then it's not through violence that she conquers the dragon. It's through like his ego.
No, she kind of outwits him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was clearly, it seemed like it was, at least, like you said, the fact that it was like a non-violent rescuing, like she outwitted him. And then at the end, she doesn't need him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I guess that's where the anti-family thing is, right? It's like she was supposed to get married, but she decided not to. And it doesn't necessarily mean that she didn't want a family. She just didn't want this asshole as her husband.
Right, but I think, again, like that's the message of, women don't need men.
They don't.
They don't, right. But I mean, you got to remember that, so this is previous to that, because this would be like post probably 1988.
Yeah.
But there was a point where the Republican Party under the first George Bush presidency, the vice president Dan Quayle got into kind of like an argument with a TV show called Murphy Brown, where it's about this female news reporter, and she gets pregnant in a later season and decides to keep the child as a single mother.
Yeah.
And there was all of this kind of hubbub about that pushing a very an anti-family message.
You can't hear it, but I just rolled my eyes.
I did hear it. And I feel like the response to the Paper Bag Princess is very similar to that. That it's an anti-family marriage only if you accept family in a very, very narrow definition of mother, father, and children.
Yeah, but you know what? I would go a little bit farther and just say, like, this book isn't anti-family. It's just like, it's not like she got pregnant and decided not to have the family with Ronald, and Ronald was a fine dude or whatever.
Which, by the way, would still be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's your call, right?
Yeah.
But this book just seemed like it was like, this guy was a bum. He was a bum. And she said
anti-marrying a bum.
Anti-marrying a bum. And that's...
Don't marry a bum.
There's nothing wrong with not marrying a bum.
No, that should be applauded.
Exactly.
Don't you think, Mo?
Yeah.
We should celebrate people who do not marry bums.
Let's do a round of applause for people who have not married bums.
Oh, I thought it was going to be for people who did marry bums.
No, we're going to give them
if you've married a bum,
boo.
That makes you a bum.
If you married a bum, go to www.idon'twannabemarriedtoabum.com
or www.doubletfguy.
The helpful WTF guy. Just in case that remains in the episode, when Morrigan was much, much, much smaller, and she got used to us saying WTF, her toddler version of it was double TF.
Yes, which I still say.
And then sometimes it would get double TF guy added to it, like, what double TF dude? What a double TF guy? And that's the only way I ever say it now.
Yep.
That's the only way I ever say it.
Yeah. So
you started something, Mo. You started something. You've got your own. What is it? Colloquialism.
Yeah, something like that. Double TF guy. And then there's other things that I've picked up from her as well, but I can't think of what they are right now. So yeah, like I said, it was the anti-family message. I don't feel like it's being banned very much anymore. I feel like, but I also think, if you look at, last week we talked about Prince and Knight. Mm-hmm. I think there'd be some people who would argue that this sort of book, The Paper Bag Princess, opened the door to a book like Prince and Knight, right? So if you start with, women don't need to get married to the prince that they've been in love with forever. If it turns out he's a bum, then all of a sudden you can have a prince marrying another guy, and we're in chaos now.
Right. What do they call that? The
That's
slippery
totally
slope.
illegal.
That's what they.
That's a logical
Try to make
fallacy,
that
by the way.
argument.
So if anybody out there thinks that the slippery slope is like a real thing, that's actually like, it's a logical falsehood. There's no such thing as a slippery slope.
I mean, I could pour oil on a hill and prove you wrong there, sir.
Logically, okay, physically there is a slippery slope, but logically it's considered logical fallacy. It's something that people use to make a point when they don't actually have the evidence to back their point up, because it's all hypothetical.
That's true.
There's no concrete logical evidence to support the position that they're making. So they say, well, if we do this, then this will happen, and then this will happen, and then this will happen, and then the next thing you know, the human race will die out because there's no more families.
There's no more families because we're all married to ducks now.
We're all married to... Yeah, I mean, if you don't want families, if you don't want to marry a man and you're a woman, and then you marry someone of the same gender, then who's to say you're not going to marry somebody of a different species, and then the next thing you know, the human race is gone.
Even my toaster.
Can I marry my cat?
I'm going to marry my Xbox.
You can't marry your cat.
Wait, can I marry a cheeseburger?
Yes.
No, because a cheeseburger can't consent to marriage.
Neither can the Xbox.
No, that's true. I can't marry my Xbox.
Were you going to marry?
can only marry
Are you
something
going to
that can
marry your
give you
Xbox?
consent.
Was that the plan?
Yeah, I just said I'm going to marry my Xbox.
I would come to the wedding.
Well, I would hope you'd come to the wedding no matter what it was.
How would you kiss an Xbox?
With my lips, obviously. How else would you do it?
I think.
I mean, I could literally go and kiss my Xbox right. I'm not going
Please
to, but
don't.
Yeah, don't.
but it's not like it's that hard to do.
I know, it would just be weird.
It would be weird.
Yeah.
You may now kiss the Xbox.
You know, it's.
Well, I mean, it would still be you may now kiss the bride because
How do you know it's a girl?
Yeah. Maybe it's a male. Maybe it's a non-binary.
I was gonna say maybe it's
Xbox.
yeah, I think by default it would be non-binary, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know what? I just had a thought
Never
when
thought
we were
about that.
talking about all of this, and it's the anti-family, or the problem with the prince and knight. Like a prince marrying a male knight. These issues, they all seem to like stem on this. Destroying the. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I would feel like the core argument against these books would be that we need to have males and females getting together, reproducing, having families, and continuing the species on, which is true, and we do need to have that. But I think the problem is that they're not understanding that you can have both. Like you can have a woman who decides that she doesn't want to have kids, she doesn't want to get married, she doesn't want to have a family, she wants to pursue other things in life, and that's perfectly fine. And you can have people of the same gender or whatever getting together and not producing children out of the relationship, and that's totally fine.
Well, and plus, they can adopt children.
They can adopt children, yeah, absolutely.
They can also have children with some outside assistance.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Like that door isn't closed. But then the idea that in some way the heterosexuality is the norm. It is the norm, and the idea that doing anything different puts that in jeopardy is just ridiculous.
But yeah, I don't think the Paperback Princess is getting challenged much anymore. Now that there are far more controversial books, but I thought, seeing as we did kind of bring it up ever so briefly, although I don't think it made the final cut of the episode, we did talk about it in the last episode, and it was kind of nice to go for a deeper cut, something a little older. Do you have any thoughts on the book, Mo?
It's a book. Those are my thoughts.
Did it have
Yeah.
words?
Is there a reason that you like the story?
It's a good book. That is my reason.
It is a good story. It's a good story.
Yeah, it's got all the qualities of a good story. It's got a easy to follow plot. It's got humor. It has things that are unexpected, which you don't want to read a book that you're just gonna like automatically know what's gonna happen, right? It is well made. It is for how short it is well pieced together. It's memorable. I don't think anybody that's read this book can forget this book. Even though there are more books like it now, I think it still stands out. It was masterfully put together. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the first time I read it. I can't remember when the first time I read it. I wasn't a kid. I think I was in, my late teens, 18, 19, 20, something along those lines. But it stuck with me.
Yeah.
It was shorter than I remembered it. For some reason, I thought it was like a larger book. But yeah, no, it was well put together, well thought out, which is still important in a book of this length. Like you can tell a crappy story in 10 pages, or you can tell a good story in 10 pages. Right?
Exactly.
And
I think sometimes too, it's good when you have a story like this where, it is making a point, but it's not like shoved into your face.
Yeah, it's not like sitting
It's
there
a nice-
screaming it, right? Like it's not like you don't have to have a family, right? Or you don't have to be with a bum. It was, she, at the start, she wanted to be with the prince, right? She wanted to rescue the prince.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was her whole intent. That was her number one goal through the whole
And yet,
book.
when she arrived to save him, he was a
Bum.
bum. He was a jerkwad.
I would go even farther and say he was a dick.
He was a dick.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. The world is over.
I know.
I heard a swear word.
Oh,
That's
sorry,
not even a
sorry,
swear
Mo,
word.
sorry.
You have killed me.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think even beyond like women don't need men, there's the message of regardless of who you are, regardless of your gender, regardless of the gender of the other person, don't let somebody else treat you like that.
Yeah, don't
Don't
settle
let them
for
be
somebody.
a bum.
What's that, Mo?
Don't let them be a bum.
Exactly.
Well, you can let them be
if
a
someone's
bum.
going to
Like
treat you like a bum, you call them on that shit
Yeah.
and move on with your life.
yeah, she was perfectly fine to let him be a bum, right? She wasn't going to change him. She's like, nah, I'm out. I'm good. You can
Exactly.
You can go be you. I'm just not going to be there with you. Which is a healthy way to
don't
look
be-
at things.
Don't be one of those women who like sees a guy who's a bum and is like, oh, I can fix him.
Because you can't.
You can't, exactly. Be like, you're a bum, get out of my face.
I got a joke for you.
All right.
How many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know.
Just one. But the light bulb really has to want to change. Have you not
good.
heard that before?
Ah,
I have not heard that.
That's a.
I might have. I mean, I'm an old person. I might have heard
I've
that.
heard that before.
The first time I heard that
I've got
was.
one for you that I heard on TikTok the other day.
Okay, let's hear it.
What do you call a magician that loses its magic?
A magician.
Magician.
Ian.
That's what I.
Oh
that's
my
what
God.
I meant. I knew it.
Is that because I sent you the video?
You did. Did you send me
I might have said. I don't know if I
the
said it to
I
you or
don't
not.
know that. I just thought of it.
Okay.
That's funny.
It's good. I like that one.
That's funny.
So yeah, this has been the third part of our look at some children's books. I was thinking it's interesting that this lines up with kind of our slow down summer period because it's almost like we're doing kids books while kids are on summer break. So maybe if you're listening and you have kids, we're finding some great books for them to read while they're in summer break, or great books to take out of the school library when they get back to school again, assuming these books haven't been banned from your local schools, because, that's what these books sometimes happen to them.
I don't think I've ever seen the Paper Bag Princess in my school.
Really?
No.
Oh, that's sad.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't really look for that kind of book.
Yeah, you're reading bigger books than that these days.
Yeah, because I'm cool.
Yeah. What are you reading right now?
Harry Potter.
Which has also been banned in a number of schools.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
If the Harry Potter books weren't so freaking long, I'd consider doing them. Mo, hold it. So we talked a lot about what's important to us. I want to hear about, we've been dealing with children's books for a while. We're going to do at least one more, I think. I want to do The Little Prince. Mm-hmm. That is a book that is near and dear to me. But Mo, while we got you on the show, I would like to know what is important to you right now. What do you feel are things that need to be changed? What is good in the world? What is bad in the world? Do you have any ideas on that?
Or even if you don't want to go big picture like that, what book is important to you?
Book.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite book?
No, not really.
I know you've dug into some pretty intense literature, like you and your mom recently read Animal Farm.
Yeah.
Which is a bit more intense. And there's also a book that's frequently banned.
You know what?
and
My
a bit more
girlfriend actually
intense
suggested
than,
Animal Farm as a book for us to do.
Who did?
Nikita, my girlfriend.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that or 1984 would be interesting too. I think they've both been banned at times.
I have both of those.
Yeah, those are both George Orwell. 1984 is a bit longer, but I also haven't read 1984 since actually 1984.
Jesus.
I bought an edition of the book that came out. I guess I would have been 11. And we still had like the home book orders or whatever, and I bought a copy that year.
Okay.
But yeah. And so what was the experience of being on this podcast like?
Being on a podcast.
It was exactly like that. Did you hate it?
No.
No?
Did you like it?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Would you ever do it again?
Probably, if I got McDonald's.
Now the truth comes out.
Oh, that's good.
It's good to know. Maybe next time we'll do, not next time, but at some point, like the next time to have you on, we'll do like a banned children's movie or something, if we can find something like that. We can watch a movie. And
Hey, has The Nightmare Before Christmas been banned?
I don't think so.
Oh, damn. Okay. Lord of the Rings?
The movies?
Have they been banned? No, I guess they have.
I don't know. I mean, maybe in like Singapore or Korea. I don't know.
You know what?
Some
Even
countries
if
are
they've been
weird.
slightly challenged, that's our wheelhouse now. Like we've opened the gate to a lot of different.
We
things.
have opened the gate. I don't know if I need another. I don't need to sit through those movies again ever.
Nikita and I just did.
Everyone-
We started. I think it was like Saturday, and we finished on Thursday. We finished the whole trilogy, the extended edition. I don't know where we found the time,
Oh, wow.
but like, yeah, it was good. It was just as good as I remember it. It's fuck. Or sorry,
Yeah.
I almost swore.
We need-
Sorry, Mo. It's fantastic.
We need to ban Nightmare Before Christmas so we can watch it.
Well, we could watch that anytime. That's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess final score on the book, I would give it 5 paper bags out of 5. There's nothing wrong with this book. It's well written. It's well put together. It's funny. It's short and sweet. I like it.
I thought at the end of the day it was a better adventure than our last book.
The Prince and the Knight. I did. Yeah, I did.
Prince and Knight was.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's like they're both quality books with an important message, but I just felt like the adventure that she goes on in this book was a bit more interesting. And they both involve dragons too, so there's you can do a side by side comparison. I just thought this was a bit more of an interesting adventure.
Yeah, and I think it was. I mean, not to take anything away from from the author of the Prince and the Knight. But it was just like
certainly
Robert
not.
Munsch. He's a master. It was just well put together. I mean, it's hard to make
Canadian
a good
author too, I believe.
It's
right?
hard to make a good story that's short as well. You know, it's almost easier to make a good story that's long. Every question that needed to be answered was answered in this book. It was well put together. The art was good. I don't know. It was well made. I liked it.
Looks like this was his third book.
Really?
Right.
Yep.
Oh,
my God.
okay.
How many books have they made?
A lot more than that, I
many.
think. 90?
No, I said many.
Oh, I said 90.
It's easier when you're doing like children's books because they're short.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, and I don't mean it's
don't-
easier to come up with those stories, but it's like just the sheer amount of time at the keyboard is
Yeah.
it's going to be smaller.
I
It's
mean,
not like you're
yeah,
making
but
a book.
sorry, Mo, go ahead.
It's not like you're making a giant book.
That's true. Yeah, I guess I mean there is some. I feel like when you're making a children's book, you have so much more. What's the word I'm looking for? Restrictions on what you can and can't do. Time wise, subject wise, everything. So I like art that is created within, sort of like set confines. You know, I feel like that's where real creativity comes from. How far can you move in the other direction? You know, like in a big book, you can move very far left and right, but in a short book, you really have to move up and down, in and out, you know, to get any kind of depth. So, I mean, I respect that sort of writing, being able to do things within a more constricted space, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, anyway, I'm just saying the same thing over and over again. Liked it.
Well, that's how you pattern a podcast.
I say you what? Oh yeah. You know, I'm just trying to like fill out time.
Pad the runtime. Say the same thing again and again, and then slower.
You know, one more thing. I just want to say how much I liked this book.
Exactly.
Okay, I think we can probably call it.
Yeah, so thanks for coming on, Morgan. This has been a blast. It's been good to have you here, part of the conversation. And thank you, as always, Oren, for taking the time to read these great big tomes that we're covering right now. And thank you, listener, if you're still listening. We appreciate you. And remind you that you can find out more about us and what we do at our website, blahblahblahmedia.com. That's BLAHBLAHBLAH media.com. You've got links to my other podcast there, as well as links to support us financially through Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to do that, it's greatly appreciated. As well as links to our merch store. You can get t-shirts and throw pillars. You shouldn't throw pillars. Those are big and they hurt if you get hit by them.
What about tiny pillars?
I guess tiny pillars could be throw pillars, but
What if they're tiny pillars with spikes on them?
we're selling throw pillows.
Which are much
that say,
softer. Much softer. You can
go
still
read a
throw them
fucking
at
book.
people, but they would inflict a lot less damage.
That's true. So yeah, you can find all that at blahblahblahmedia.com. I guess that does it for us.
Yeah,
My name's
I
Todd
mean-
Sullivan. Across from me,
Oh, sorry. I was
What?
just gonna say, like,
I was
hey,
just wrapping up, and you're cutting me off now.
I was cutting you off. But I just want to say, like, you know, we are on Buy Us a Coffee because I would, and you can go to Buy Me a Beer or Buy Us a Beer. What is it? Buy Me a Beer.
It's buy me a beer.
BuyMeAbeer.com. We're on there. If you want to get us a beer, I like beer a lot. I would appreciate a beer.
It's buymeabeer.com. Just redirects to buymeacoffee.com.
So if you buy us a coffee, we will spend it on beer. Just saying.
Yes. But it even says that. I went back to our Buy Me a Coffee page and I looked at it and it says, buy them a beer. Because you can actually state what you want to put the funds towards. So we are being as honest as we can be up front.
Yeah.
That your money will be going towards buying delicious liquid bread.
Please no.
Well, I'm not going to give you any. It's okay.
It'll be buy Mo a Big Mac.
Buy Mo a chicken nugget meal.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. If somebody wants to see Mo back again, bribe her back with a chicken McNugget meal.
And ice cream.
Go to. Okay, well, you can have one or the other.
How rude.
I've never
Go
been
to
so offended.
buymeacoffee.com. Send us $5. If there's a way to add in a note that says like this is for Mo, then I'll bribe her with food and she'll come over and be on the podcast again.
That sounds perfect.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. My name is Todd Sullivan. Across from me is Morrigan. Say hi or bye or whatever.
Why would I say hi if it's the end?
So say what you're going to say.
Goodbye.
Bye. And on the other end of the phone line is Oren Barter.
That's me, a Mario. I don't know why I did that. I'm a little drunk.
And until next time, go read a fucking book.